بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربنا زدنا علما يا كريم. So we're going to carry on our discussions in the Kitab المستور الإفادة بما يعين على حضور في العبادة. The encapsulated lines, that which can help a person having presence, being present in your worship. We all worship, but the idea of that worship is that we want to be present in our worship. We want to be here at this moment. When I am listening to something, it's impacting my heart. It is touching me because I'm physically, conscientiously with my heart present. Okay? So one of the things that help is that for the next 10 seconds, just all of you guys can take a moment with yourself and just whatever is going in your world. I know there might be an assignment due tonight. Something is going to due somewhere. You're running behind on something. Whatever is happening, put all of that to rest for the next 40 minutes to an hour. Rather, this gathering will only add barakah to your life. So put that to rest and have this intention that, Ya Allah, I'm only here. I'm here because I want to have a better Ramadan. Okay, I want to have a better Ramadan. For those of you that would want to go into a deeper dive on, I believe, February 22nd. If you guys can check, maybe it's a Saturday, February 20th. Huh? Sorry? 23rd then. So it's a Saturday? February 22nd is a Saturday. Yeah. Yeah, in Venus it's not, but in Earth it is. So it is a Saturday. We are going to do an intensive for university students and young professionals, 16 and above, even grade 11 and 12 can come. And the idea would be that we'll have 3 hours together where we'll actually do more practical fiqh and planning on all of that. I know it's going to be far for some of you, but that's the only location. I'll launch that. I'll probably share it with somebody on MSA. If those of you that are in town on Saturday, you guys can join that on that Saturday evening, inshallah, from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock, inshallah. And there'll be dinner available too. Okay. Khair. We'll start back, inshallah. So we talked about last time, quick recap, we talked about various different levels of fasting. There is the fasting of the awam, general public. They fast, they refrain from food, but everything else goes. Your life, nothing spiritually has changed in your life. Then the second type of fasting is the fasting of the special people, right? Where it's an achievable goal for us. That's what we're talking about. And then there is that khawas al-khawas, they're like the VVIPs, that are the Anbiya alayhim as-salam and stuff that can only think about nothing but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during fasting. They're not concerned about dunya, they're not concerned about, it's very hard for us to do that. It's very hard for us to do that. So we're going to focus on that. And then the second category, we talked about that amma sawmul khusus, and as for the fasting of the VIPs, huwa sawmul salihin, this is the fast of the pious people. That is yutimmu, it is completed by 6 things. And we talked about the 2 things. I'll just quickly recap. I'm not going to go in details this time. Al-awwal, the first thing of the 6 is ghaddul basar, to lower our gaze. وَكَفُّهُ عَنِ الْإِتِّسَاعِ فِي النَّظَرِ إِلَى كُلِّ مَا يَذُمُّ وَيُكْرَهُ, to prevent it from looking at every single thing that is shameworthy and that is disliked. وَإِلَى كُلِّ مَا يَشْغُلُ الْقَلْبُ وَيُلْهِيهِ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ, and to prevent your eyes from seeing all that will distract you from the remembrance of Allah. So NBA playoffs, right? No matter how good they are, right? As a source of distraction. Slam dunk contest in the middle of Ramadan, as much as I would love to see it, right? But if you see it, you're occupying yourself with that. You're using your eyes for something. And what ends up happening is it will distract you. It'll distract you during fasting. It'll distract you even in the month of Ramadan. It is mentioned about Imam Sanusi, rahimahullah, he is a master of Aqidah books and he has written multiple Aqidah books. It is written about him that he never once looked at a tyrant. It is mentioned about him that he was so careful about his eyes that if he would see the Mongolians, he would see them, if he'd see, and while they were there, he would see those police officers that were like brutally killing other people, they were tyrants. Every time he would see the governmental officials that were ruthlessly hurting Muslims in his country, he would turn his face towards the wall and he would allow them to walk. And he would say that if I look at them, that look prevents me from getting up in the middle of the night for a Qiyamul Layl, because it's having an effect on my heart directly. So that's the level, this is 300 years, 400 years ago, 400, 500 years ago. Right? So this is something. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم says, النظرة سهم مسموم من سهام إبليس فمن تركها خوفا من الله عز وجل آتاه الله سبحانه وتعالى إيمانا يجد حلاوته في قلبه. That eyesight, through eyes, this eyesight, when we look at something, that is like an arrow of shaitan, which is masmoom, it is a poisonous arrow. Whosoever, i.e. looking at something that is haram, whosoever prevents it, whosoever protects yourself from that poisonous arrow, خوفا من الله عز وجل. The only thing that was there was not your dad, not your mom, not the shaykh, nobody. It was just the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you looked at. No, I can't look at it. It's not something that I'm supposed to look at. خوفا من الله. Out of the fear from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that person, آتاه الله, Allah will grant that person iman. يجد حلاوته في قلبه. You will find the sweetness of that iman in your heart. May Allah grant us all that. And Jabir رضي الله عنه and Anas رضي الله عنه قال أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال خمس يفطرن. 5 things, they will break your fast spiritually. I mean, your actual fast is still valid, but you've broken it spiritually. You have violated your spiritual high state if you do 5 of these things. Lying, backbiting, slander, taking an oath that is false. And last one, وَالنَّظْرُ بِالشَّهْوَةِ, and to look at something lustfully. If you look at something haram, you turn away, that's fine. You look at it and now you're like, okay, let me now enjoy this. That look becomes lustful and it's haram. والثاني, the second one, second, حفظ اللسان عن هذيان والكذب, to protect your tongue from slip-ups, and specifically the 2 things, al-kadhib, lying, and number 2, backbiting. These are 2 of the most detrimental things a person can do during the state of fasting to violate the sanctity of your fast and the spirituality of it. Kadhib. What is the definition of kadhib? What's lie? How would you define kadhib? Kadhib is everything that is opposite to the reality. كل كلام يخالف الواقع. Every speech that is incongruent with the reality. Anything that I say and it has incongruence, it doesn't match up with the reality. If I say, for example, the bag that's there, or the camera bag that is here, or his laptop, if I say the laptop is black, that bag is black, that is truth. But if I say the bottle is blue, or it is blue, or teal, the bottle is pink, that is kadhib. I've lied. The bottle is not pink. It's not congruent with reality. So that is the core basic definition. Assalamu alaikum. That is the core basic definition of kadhib. Okay? Something that is not congruent with reality. Okay? And ghiba. What is ghiba? Backbiting. What is backbiting? Did you hear? Yeah, it starts off, right? Did you hear Asad? Did you hear what he did? Did you hear about Zainab? Right? It starts off with that excitement. You want to let in a little secret that you know that nobody else knows. You want to tell that to other people. Okay? If you have a perpetual habit of backbiting, and I tell this, and sometimes it's harsh for people. They'll come to me, they're like, I can't make friends, right? There's a direct correlation of not having friends and your perpetual backbiting. They found that people who backbite consistently cannot have good, long-lasting friendships. So if you're not having good friends, or if you're not having long-lasting relationships, and if you just have like one friend or two, but generally most people, they don't want to befriend you, or they will befriend you, but then something happens you don't understand. It's unexplainable. They just stop. They just don't want to hang out with you anymore. Most likely, I'm not saying definitively, most probably you have a habit of an unconscious habit of backbiting. And maybe you're not doing it with a negative emotion. Maybe you're not doing it to really hurt that person. It's just who you are. It's just who you are. Okay? And we need to work on that. One namima. Namima is slander, which is like backbiting, but what? There's a lie attached to it. You have spread a rumor about someone, or about someone. You've spread a rumor about them, about someone, and that rumor is what? It's false. It's not true. It's not accurate. Okay? Where do you think the most rumors take place? Which platform? Which one? Huh? Twitter? Well, they have community notes now. Where does it take place the most? Huh? What did he say? Government? MashaAllah. Where do you think it takes place most? WhatsApp. Yeah. Because it's the easiest thing to forward, and you don't even verify what it was. Right? Somebody said, oh, did you hear about this person? He did this. Forward. Oh, forward. Oh my God, forward. Oh my God, forward. Oh my God, forward. And then it just forwards to too many people, and nobody verified if that thing was true or not. I know of a person whose marriage was lost because of a false rumor on WhatsApp, because his friend thought it was funny. He just said, did you see so and so yesterday? They were sitting on a coffee shop at this place with so and so. It was just a funny joke. He thought that the 4 people that were in the group, they're all trusted group, one of them leaked it. He forwarded it to his friend. They forwarded it to his friend. And then it just went, and eventually came back to his wife. His wife was like, what is this? He's like, trust me, there's nothing like that. And they were already having a rough patch in their relationships, and she lost all trust, and she's like, I'm walking away. Okay? Happens all the time in MSAs. Rumors. Right? You hear something about someone, oh, wow. Did you hear? Did you see the way they were looking at each other? I saw that. And those conversations happen all the time. Okay? So false. You're spreading something, and that's false. See, Prophet ﷺ on Isra wal Mi'raj, he saw a person who was a backbiter. What was the punishment? Do you remember what the punishment he was given? He had hands that were turned into claws of copper, and he would just scratch his face until nothing but bone was left, and his flesh would be brought back, and he would do the same punishment again and again for every backbiting they did. If that is the punishment of backbiting, then imagine the punishment of namima, slander, which is even more worse. Like in terms of its severity, it's even worse. Then al-fuhush. Fuhush is things that are indecency. Talking about things indecent, like indecent conversations, right? Conversations of sexual nature, conversations about somebody's body, right? Oh, did you see that? Did you see? Guys can do that for girls. Girls can do that for guys. Any of that conversations, indecent conversations, that's fuhush, right? We're not supposed to be talking about that. Okay. Wal jafa, this is the nice one. When Ramadan starts, you haven't had your coffee in the morning. What happens? People are very happy or groggy? They're like, oh, don't talk to me. Okay, and then towards the end of the day, what happens? Wallahi, la tkallimni. My head is khalas. It's done. Don't talk to me. Right? Jafa, being rude and dry in your behavior. Okay, you don't need to tell the world you're fasting. Okay, so this jafa is also another issue that we have: harsh-heartedness and rude behavior. Next one, al-khusuma, to fight. To fight with one another over what? Nonsense stuff, unnecessary things. Argue for unnecessary. In the month of Ramadan, you should stop now. You have a different viewpoint, no problem. No problem. Abshir. It's Ramadan. I don't want to fight about that right now. Let it go. Let it go. Then he says, وَالْخُصُومَةِ وَالْمِرَاءِ, I'm better than you. You're better than me. I got better grades than you. You better get, like, just competing with one another and then boasting about that. Oh, I got into this program. You didn't get into that? Oh, wow. Sorry. Inshallah, next time. Right? This type of conversation. So these type of things happen all the time, but we don't even think about it. We use our tongues to hurt people. وَإِلْزَامُ السُّكُوتِ, he's like, what is necessary in the month of Ramadan is just to be quiet. Just be quiet. Don't talk. إِلْزَامُ السُّكُوتِ. Every time you want to talk, I'm fasting. You're fasting from talking. Okay? You're fasting from talking. A friend of mine, he heads a very big initiative in Canada. He reports directly into the Prime Minister. He was telling me he's done all this weird stuff. You always have this one friend, like he's practicing, but he always wants to try weird stuff. Right? Like he's really good practicing. He'll come out with us in cottage. He's very close to us. Like we'll all be there. Every time we're like any of the shuyukh are coming, he's always there. But he's always up to something weird. Okay, like so the other day I met him and he's like, bro, I gotta tell you what I did, man. What? Yo, I went into a Buddhist retreat. I'm like, what? Bro, you're heading a Muslim initiative in Canada. Like, you're reporting their prime minister for a Muslim cause. He's like, shh, bro, it was life-changing. He was like, it was life-changing. So what happened? It's called the silent retreat. You walk in, for 3 days, you cannot talk. You are not allowed to talk for 3 days. I'm like, what about food? He's like, nothing. You're not even supposed to you're not even supposed to do that. You're supposed to stay in your room. You're supposed to come out. Your food is going to be on the table. You're going to grab your food. You're going to go back in. You're allowed to walk around in the Buddhist retreat, but you cannot talk to anyone for 3 days. And you know what he said to me? He said, at the end of the 7th or 8th hour, I've realized that I hated myself because I got to know who I actually was. He said, I got to know who I actually was and I realized I hate myself. I didn't even know who I was because I was so occupied talking and I never got a chance to pause and think. And he said, at the end of 3rd day, he said, I'm telling you, my concentration in salah. I'm like, what? You went to a Buddhist retreat, bro. Like, your concentration in salah. He said, there's something miraculous about sukut, about being quiet. You guys remember this show, Ahmed al-Shigeri's show? Who remembers that? Khawatir, right? So after he finished his show, Al-Khawatir, he wrote a book called Al-Arba'un. He wrote a book called The 40. What he did is he found out about an island in which nobody lives and there's just one cottage. And he got a charter boat, went there on that island. He took a small phone and he said to his wife and his dad, this is the only number that I'm going to be accessible at for the next 40 days. Only call me if your jugular vein is cut open. Everything else, I'm not accessible. Like if you're dying, call me. He says, I went there for 40 days on this island all by myself. He took a copy of the Mus'haf, Quran, and he took 40 books and he read a book a day. And he was all by himself the rest of the day. He said towards the third day, he says there's something called kalakir. All of your mumbo jumbo inside of you, everything that is like, all of that starts coming open. And he's like, you start hating yourself because you have so much unsettled things that you need to deal with in life. And you're just carrying it and carrying it and carrying it. Okay? So Ramadan is a great opportunity for us to undo our kalakir, to undo all of that. How? You are very lucky. When I was in university, one of the things I used to do is I would just simply, do you guys have quiet study rooms somewhere that you can book and you can be in there? I would spend 2 to 3 hours. Is there a limit on those rooms? Okay, perfect. So I would just, spend 2 to 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. I would come, finish my class, grab my notes, and go in that class and just be myself. No socialization with anyone. And wallahi, I'm telling you, those were some of the best moments that I had in a Ramadan in my life. Because those quiet study rooms are away from family drama, away from everything else. And for 4 hours, 3 hours, whatever you can do, dedicate yourself, do your homework, read some Quran, read some nafil, right? Pray some whatever, everything. And it's your sanctuary where you can be to honestly rejuvenate yourself and reconnect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? Sukut, being quiet, is a very powerful thing. And if you cannot be quiet, then the alternative is أَوْ شُغْلُهُ بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. If you're not going to be quiet, then the alternative is that you are occupying yourself with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're doing adhkar. Okay? I told you guys last time too, the ba. Did you guys share that Ba Alawi app? Okay, that is my go-to adhkar app. Okay, it has enough Quran that I need to read. It has all the dhikr. There's adhkar of protection. There's even there's adhkar for studies in there. Like if you're about to study, what should be your intention? What should be the intention of your studies? It has even those intentions in there. Like it has even all of those adhkars, and they're very powerful. For example, where is it? Sorry. Yeah. Intentions of Imam al-Haddad for learning and teaching, right? That you start with that intention, Allahumma lakal hamdu ala ni'matil ukhuwa, and then you start off all of that. Oh Allah, I ask you for the right intention. I want to learn this knowledge of mine. وَالنَّفْعَ وَالْإِنْتِفَاعَ. I want to benefit and I want to be of benefit. وَالْإِفَادَةَ وَالْإِسْتِفَادَةَ. That I want to benefit, istifada, I want to have fa'idah and I want to bring fa'idah to people. Right? All of this, وَالْحَثُّ عَلَى التَّمَسُّكِ بِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ. In this knowledge seeking of ours coming to university, I ask you to allow me to be connected to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the sunnah of His message, and to guide me and to lead me to every khair in this institution that I study in. So every little element of your life, that app is going to be a really good friend of yours, right? So use that app to do dhikr. So he says, بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ وَتِلَاوَةِ الْقُرْآنِ. The second thing is Quran. This is the month of what? Ramadan is the month of Quran. Okay? Okay, if you feel like you can answer this, again, we should not judge anyone, but like, if you feel like it, you can answer it. If you don't feel like it, don't answer it. But the question is, show of hands, if you have not finished one complete recitation of the Quran since last Ramadan. Be honest to yourselves. Okay? Excellent. Okay, good. For the rest of you, if you have, amazing, right? For those of you that you haven't, here's a hack for it. Okay? I'm not sure what level you are in terms of your recitation. Okay? One of the best ways to do it is, turn your phone on airplane mode. That's the first thing, because you're going to be sitting there and some assignment notification is going to come to you. And then you open the Quran. If you are pretty good reader of the Quran, I would start with Yasir Salama. Yasir Salama, this is the speed that he reads in, without any mistakes. So you put your headphones on, this app will highlight every ayah, and you are reciting with it. So you are reciting, you are a good reciter, you can recite, and you're going to be reciting وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. But you're listening to it in your ear to make sure that you're not making any mistakes. You're doing, it's a little bit of by the second day you'll learn the skill. But that ensures that you don't doze off track, and you're listening and you're catching up to the hearing and stuff. Now, if you're slow, if you're not able to go that fast, no problem. If you listen to Yasir Salama Hadar on the Quran app, you can finish one juz in 33 minutes. Divide that up by 2, by 3, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. You need 10 minutes in your Fajr, 10 minutes before Iftar, 10 minutes before you go to bed. All of us can finish one Quran with him. Now, if you don't have that, you're not at that speed of Yasir Salama, the other one you want to be able to recite is Khalil al-Husri. That's going to require an hour to finish one juz. Okay? But it's okay. If you have not finished the Quran, that's fine. Still target for half an hour. Still target for half an hour. Remember last time we talked about this? We said what? That the purpose of Ramadan is that I have a minimum performance level with the Quran right now. Okay, that is that, I read this much, or some of us are not reading. It's fine. That's my minimum performance level. Ramadan is here to build on me a habit so that I can bump up my minimum performance level, so that for the next whole year I sustain that. So I am not going gung-ho swimming marathon in the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, I'm going to take the small kiddie pool for today. It's fine. Right? If I can daily swim in that kiddie pool, I'm okay. Because now I was not swimming at all, but now I'm actually swimming in the kiddie pool. I'm actually better. Right? So the idea is don't jump into the Atlantic or the Pacific Ocean saying, you know what, I'm going to finish the entire khatm, inshallah. And then we all know what happens. Right? I've been there, trust me, at university. I was like, I'm going to do this. Until my teacher's like, no, you can't. So if you've not been reciting, excellent opportunity for you to inculcate Quran in your life. So that means 20 minutes, follow with the teacher, right? If you don't have a teacher, no problem. There is something miraculous that happens when you listen to the Quran. Because Quran was never written. It's an oral tradition. And then if you want, you listen to Husri at this. One second, this is not the Husri that I want. I think this is the one. So, Husari, even if you are a beginner, you can still recite with him. Because nobody recites better than him in audio. And it doesn't matter if other people are finishing Quran, no problem. You're not competing with other people. You are competing with what you were before Ramadan. You were not reciting. You're competing with that. You're not competing with a guy who has finished 2 Qurans. My game is not with them. My game is with me. Can I increase myself to a level that I am better than myself before Ramadan? So when I leave Ramadan, I have developed a habit of attachment with Quran. Now this can stay with me all throughout. And wallahi, even if it is small, half a page, with Khalil al-Husri at that level, you'll probably get a page. Okay? If you can do 3 pages a day, this would be 10 minutes or maybe 6 minutes a page or 7 minutes a page. 7 minutes, 7 minutes, 7 minutes, 21 minutes. Okay? If you carry this on, you will finish the Quran in 6 months. Daily 3 pages. You'll finish it. Something miraculous is going to happen. Okay? 8 months. My calculus kicked in the brain, like 600 pages. So, okay? So, tilawatil Quran. فَهَذِهِ صَوْمُ اللِّسَانِ. This is called the fast of your tongue. To stay away from that which is haram, to occupy your tongue with dhikr only, and to fulfill the month of Quran by attaching yourself consistently in small packs with the Quran. Is that making sense? Okay. Now, when I'm in a room and I start seeing people that are dozing off, I do things. That's just me. Okay? So, I'm going to ask everybody to stand up. I can see the energy levels going down. Abdullah is like, what's going on? Abdullah exactly knows what's going on. Oh, it's all right. It's all right. I did this clap for you, so you can edit. Okay. Okay. So can we form 2 lines of guys? So lines. So one person come here, and another person come here, and then let's form 2 lines. Okay. Yeah. It gets second line here, and then go all the way back. Line up. Straight line. Straight line. That's not a very straight line here. Okay. All right. Same thing with the sisters. Form a line. Let's go. Let's go. Form a line. Okay. All right. Who knows the activity? That's not a line. Brothers, yani. Okay. All you're going to do, come here. All you're going to do is you're going to gently tap on your brother next. Or, shh. Girls, gentle taps. You're not killing the other. Hayya! And you're not also taking out your Ramadan frustrations right now. Okay? Simple, gentle taps. All right, go. Let's go. Take it. Yeah, wide angle. Take. Switch. Turn around. Wow. All right, you guys can come back. All right, come on closer. Let's go. Come on closer. Let's go. All right, let's sit down. That's better? We're all charged up now? Alhamdulillah. All right. Now we're going to read some ahadith related to tongue. Okay, we understand the concept, right? We're going to read some of the ahadith about it. قال سفيان ibn Uyayna, he says, الغيبة تفسد الصوم. Somebody who engages in the act of backbiting, your fast has been nullified spiritually. Al-Layth. Do you guys know Layth? Huh? Layth ibn Sa'ad. Yes, Layth ibn Sa'ad. Right? You guys should know him. He was alive at the same time as Imam Malik. Imam Malik used to say, Al-Laythu afqahu minni. Layth has more fiqh than me. وَلَكِنَّ أَصْحَابَهُ ضَيَّعَهُ. But the problem with Layth is that he didn't get good students. And his students did not encapsulate his knowledge for him. Okay? Layth ibn Sa'ad was a billionaire of his time. Okay? So, do what's this guy? High schoolers, you know. Yeah, but the gold price has changed. Brother. Price has changed. So what is a gram of gold right now? How much does it cost? Hey Siri, what is the price of gold per gram in dollars?
Okay, I found this on the web for what is the price of gold per gram in dollars. Check it out.
Okay, you're not helpful. What is it? What's the price of gold per gram?
It says 91.84 right now.
91?
91.8.
Why did you say 91.84?
No, I said 91.
Okay, I was like 91. Okay, 91. So it's $91. Let's say $100 for the sake of calculation, okay? Layth ibn Sa'ad, okay, before I tell you this hadith, it's interesting to know these narrators. His monthly revenue used to be 27 to 30,000 kilos of gold. Okay, so do the number for me, please. 27,000. Do 30,000 kilos of gold. So in grams, how?
That's like 2,700,000.
That's what? No, that's not true. Times.
Oh yeah. Not
100 times 1,000 times 1,000. What is it?
2.7 billion.
So his monthly revenue back in the day was $2.7 billion. And now if you do inflation adjustment, you don't need to do that. I've done this exercise to you. His monthly revenue, not the assets, like monthly what he was just churning, was close to $2.9 trillion today. And he never paid zakat. Why? Because he would give every single penny that he get. Before the end of the month, everything will be distributed to poor people. Okay, that's Layth. So when we hear these names, sometimes we don't know the history about who this person is, and it's nice to know. So Layth ibn Sa'ad, right, he says that he heard from Mujahid, he says, خَصْلَتَانِ تُفْسِدَانِ الصَّوْمِ. There are two qualities if you have, it will destroy your spiritual fast. الْغِيبَةُ وَالْكَذِبُ. Lying and backbiting. Prophet ﷺ, he says, إِنَّمَا الصَّوْمُ جُنَّةٌ. Fasting is a shield. You want to lie? You can protect yourself from your own lying. You can protect yourself from the backbiting. فَإِذَا كَانَ أَحَدَكُمْ صَائِمًا. If one of you is fasting, فَلَا يَرْفُثْ وَلَا يَجْهَلْ. Don't be an ignorant person. Don't argue. Don't use vain talk. And then he says, if a person comes to you, قَاتَلَ. If a person tries to fight you, أَوْ شَاتَمَهُ, who swears at you, he says, you so-and-so and like that. فَلْيَقُلْ. First, you should tell that person, إِنِّي صَائِمٌ. I'm fasting. مَرَّتَيْنِ أَوْ ثَلَاث. Say it 3 times if you have to, 2 times if you have to. Brother, I'm fasting. Sister, I'm fasting. Let me tell you what happened. Sister, I'm fasting. It's a great opportunity because it's like a shield. You're like, I'm fasting. I'm not going to listen to your nonsense. Right? You can use that as a really good shield for a lot of things too. وَجَاءَ فِي الْخَبَرِ. In a narration, it is mentioned that two women, they came to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They said, Ya Rasulullah, it is Zuhr time and we cannot carry on our fast. We are really struggling with our fast. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, go and bring a giant bowl. Get me a giant, what would you say, a big pot? Cooking pot. What was it? What do you call it? Big, huh? Cauldron? Cauldron? Is that what it's called? Qadah? Qadah is cauldron? Cauldron. I'm an uncle. What do I know? Ask me. I can tell you in Urdu. I can tell you in Arabic. I can't tell you in English. Okay? So cauldron. Am I saying it right? Okay, good. So, why are you fixated on one person in the camera? You've been just standing there the whole time, like I don't know who you're trying to capture in the moment. Okay. فَأَجْهَدَهُ الصَّوْمِ. They were really struggling with their fast. So Prophet ﷺ said, go bring a giant vessel, a cauldron. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم قُلْ لَهُمَا قِيعًا فِيمَا أَكَلَلْتُمَا. Tell them to puke yourself out. Put your finger in and vomit whatever you have. فَقَاءَتْ إِحْدَاهُمَا. So one of them vomited. And when she vomited, what she saw, نِصْفُهُ دَمًا عَبِيطًا. She saw fresh blood. And the other one, she saw fresh blood with fresh meat that came out of their mouths. فَعَجَبَ النَّاسُ. People were so shocked. فَقَالَ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ صَامَتَا عَمَّا أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ. They were fasting, and their fast was things. They were fasting from all the things that they were not supposed to do. They stayed away from that. Okay? Subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَفْتَرَطَا. But they broke their spiritual fast. عَلَى مَا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمَا. But they broke their spiritual fast by getting involved in things that were haram for them, which is backbiting. فغدت إحداهما إلى الأخرى فجعلت تغتابان الناس. One of them came and says, did you know what happened? And the other's like, tell me. And they both started doing that conversation. And because of that, they started having that. So sometimes when we feel sick, when we're fasting sometimes, it's a good opportunity for us to evaluate that, am I indulged in some sin that I should not be doing? Right? Maybe that could be causing you a spiritual sickness. فَهَذَا مَا أَكَلَتَا مِنَ اللُّحُومِ. This is the backbiting you did. This is the meat of your brothers and sisters that you ate. Subhanallah. Okay. Jameel. Number 3. كف السمع عن الإصغاء إلى كل مكروه. To prevent and protect your ears from listening to everything that is makruh, that is disliked and that is not permissible. Okay? What are some of the things that we shouldn't listen to? Music. Gossiping, backbiting. What else? Cussing, swearing. What else? Idle talk, vain talk. There's no benefit. You know when people do most of that vain talk? When they're sitting at the iftar table. I'm serious, right? Have you entered a masjid? They're like it's like a free-for-all chatter. Like last year I was in a particular masjid. Some people know that masjid. I was in that masjid, like iftar. I'm telling you guys. And then even the board was like, no, don't tell the people. They're going to get upset. Let them talk. I'm like, but this is the time to make dua. We're not supposed to be talking at this time at iftar. We're supposed to be making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at iftar time. Because what? Prophet ﷺ said, that's the time where your dua is accepted. If you're not going to do it at that time, where are you going to do it? You get it? So it is something so shocking if we think about it, that that moment where we should be we're just talking in vain. Chai, samosa, pakoda, biryani, mantu, madri ish, wallah, gamat, akalna, muakalna, drinks, all the discussions. Allah, I made today this special drink, you don't understand. I went over the hoops and loops to get Vimto from somewhere, right? Like all of this discussion, what's the purpose of that? That is all things that are going to destroy your fast. Unnecessary. Okay? So he clarifies further for us what we should focus on. So he says, لأن كل ما حرم قوله حرم الإصغاء إليه. Everything that is haram to utter, it is haram to listen. Summary of everything we just did. If it's haram for you to say it, it's haram for you to listen. Okay. Oh, can I listen to this song? Well, can you sing that song? Is it halal for you to sing that song? He's like, no. Well, then it's not halal for you to listen to it. Okay? ولذلك سوى الله عز وجل بين المستمع والأكل السحت فقال الله سبحانه وتعالى سماعون للكذب أكالون للسحت. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, what is the problem with the people? I.e. he just defines them, that he says these were people, they used to attentively listen to kadhib, lie. Allah describes that as a bad attribute. Attentively listening to lying. Okay? Where do most lies take place in public media? The news. I want to watch the 9 o'clock news. What is it? Just a bunch of lies. Literally a bunch of lies. Okay? I had one of our neighbors, he works in a very fancy government job. So he was telling us, we were invited, I was performing his nikah. And after his nikah, he was telling us, I'm like, tell me the weirdest thing that you have seen in the government. Like, I know you're really high up there. So he's like, hey, listen, I don't work in the government anymore, but I'll tell you something. I said, what? He said, we did a particular mission. Come on in, we're not going to hurt you. There's somebody looking. He's probably scared. He's never seen that many people in the musalla, except on Jummah. He's like, what's going on? So he tells me that we did an event, we did a specific, the word he says is we did a mission critical exercise. I don't know what that means, but they did something special. And he said we did it long back. Okay? And then all of a sudden in the news media, at the Windsor border, the border patrol has recently done this activity, and he's looking at the news and he's like, bro, we did that 2.5 years ago. So he thought he was stupid or something. He thought I'm losing my brain. He's like, no. These are the specific details. I was there on that mission. I was on that boat at the Canada border. I was there, US-Canada border. This is exactly the mission scope that we did. So he called up a few of his buddies and he was like, hey, bro, you remember that mission that we went to? Right? Windsor Bridge, Ambassador Bridge underneath, that whole thing, we, caught some people. He's like, yeah. I said, check the news. The news is like, they're talking about it. And it's all of our footage. So they captured it in archive and then they displayed that news as if it happened today, just because this person was under Trump administration last time. And then after Trump administration, he worked under Biden for a year and he resigned. But now Trump came back and they played a reel of like an arrest that happened in Trump's last year of administration. Bro, it's crazy. And it was like, this is our neighbor. He's like, bro, they're blatantly lying. Okay, so this is where Ramadan, no news is good news. Don't listen to news. Don't read news. Don't read it. It's okay, right? Ideally, get rid of your social media apps. Just for a month. Or I told you guys before, do what Dr. Shadi does. Lock your phone in one place and get a different phone. Just for your SMS and phone calls. Right? You will see a massive change in your life if you did that. Okay? So he says, قال عز وجل لولا ينهاهم الربانيون والأحبار عن قولهم الإثم وأكلهم السحت. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He also rebukes the rabbis. He says, why didn't the rabbis prevent their people from lying? Why didn't they stop them? And قَوْلِهِمُ الْإِثْمِ, and they were saying bad things. Why didn't the rabbis go and stop them? Allah is rebuking the rabbis in the Quran. That you know that the language is foul, why didn't you stop that foul language? What does this tell us? This tells us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like foul language. So staying away from all forms of foul language. Then, as the hadith says, الْمُغْتَابُ وَالْمُسْتَمِعُ شَرِيكَانِ فِي الْإِثْمِ. The one who is backbiting and the one who is sitting just because it is socially awkward for me to tell her or him, don't do this. I just tag along. I just go along. Like, it's okay. It's okay. I don't want to hurt her feeling. I don't want to hurt his feeling. And you just tag along. Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Mughtabu, the one who's backbiting, Wal-Mustami'u, the one who's sitting there listening, Sharikani fil ithm. You're getting an equal sin. Even though if you're not participating in that. Because you are listening to that which is haram. Okay? Jameel. We can stop here.